time for producing. Number 2, total time for producing the 8th unit. The 8th unit. Total time for producing 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 the 8th unit. Remember, just like how I normally do it in our classrooms, if you will be among the first to get this right, I mean, you should get a present, right? You should get a present. You should get a present. So is there somebody who has been able to get the answer correctly for the 8th unit? Total time for the 8th unit. Okay. So total time for the 8th unit, remember our model is y equals, our model is y equals 12x raised to 0.6781. So if they want us to give them the time of the 8th unit, what I'll do is to talk over time of the first 8 units minus time of the first 7. So give us the time of the first 8 and the time of the first 7. So here our x will be 8. Here our x will be 7. So give us time for the first 8. From this formula, this will be 12 times 8 raised to 0.6781. And then we have time for the first 7. This will be 12 times 7 raised to 0.6781, just plugging in the quantity there. So then this will be, using your calculator, we have 12 times 8 raised to 0.6781, which will give us, it should be 12 times 8 raised to 0.6781, which will give us 49.15. And then we have every other thing remaining the same apart from quantity which goes to 7, which will give us 44.899, which is 44.90. So of course now I need to come and subtract here the time for the first 8 minus the time for the first 7. If you subtract, it will be 49.15 minus 44.9, which will give us 4.25 hours. And I would have gotten this very easily if I took it this way. Y 8th equals y first 8 minus y first 7. And then now I'll come and put out the 12, because this 12 is applicable to both. So we have 12 into 8 raised to this now, 0.6781, minus 7 raised to 0.6781, which will end up giving us what here? So 12 times open brackets, we have 8 raised to 0.6781 minus 7 raised to 0.6781, close, equals. Oh, there is a bracket we forgot here. There is a major bracket that we forgot here. We can repeat again. 12 times open brackets 8 raised to 0.6781 minus 7 raised to 0.6781. You close equals, which will end up giving us this 4.2, 4.25, 4.26, rounding off errors. Those are allowed. Any question, ladies and gentlemen? If you could unmute them, I would want to have 1 or 2 questions. Any question? Okay, okay, great. However, in our exams, ladies and gentlemen, of course, that is not the approach that your current AMA examiner takes. That is not the approach that your current AMA examiner takes. Your current AMA examiner will never give you, nowadays, if you look at this closely, you'd want you to calculate R yourself. You calculate the learning rate. So we have here learning rate. The learning rate. You can see, like, for example, in this question here, if you have your revision kits, in this question here, revision kit, page number 26, page 25 actually, is page number 25, December 09, question 1B. December 09, question 1B. You can see straight away in this requirement, they want us to give them the learning curve what? Rate. Learning curve rate. The learning curve rate. So for the learning curve rate, there are so many ways you could make use of to calculate the learning curve rate. One of the very best ways being what we call the doubling path principle. So doubling path principle, when X, for example, takes some time T. If you were to double these to 2X, then automatically T will reduce to a new timing, which is called RT. So as output doubles from X to 2X. The average time reduces from T to RT, from T to RT. Very important. So if, for example, somebody was to give you this kind of information, so he gives you, for example, it tells you when this is 10, we have 8 minutes. When the output in this case here doubles to 20, we have 6 minutes. This is average time, that is time per unit. Of course, the more we produce, of course, in this case here, the less the average time we expect for the subsequent units that we produce. So now from here, if you are required to calculate R, how will you get R? It's quite easy. When output doubles from X to 2X, 10 times 2 is 20. So I can see doubling effect there. Then the time here will be T. This will be R what here? RT. So long as there is a doubling effect here, this will be T, RT. And then now you pick it from here. We are saying that our RT should be equal to what? 6. But we happen to be knowing what the value of T is. So it will be R times T is 8. So R times 8 equals 6. And therefore, our R will be 6 out of what here? 8. So 6 out of 8 is 0.75, which is the same as what here? 75%. 75%. So anytime you see this examiner asking you to calculate the learning rate, in most cases he's testing to see whether you know this doubling path principle. That as X doubles, moves from X to 2X, then the timing there, we shall have T versus what here? RT. T versus RT. T versus RT. Any question? Any question? Anybody who has a question? Now, example here, another example. If, for instance, you are given So they give you, for example, here 2 verses 8, and then we have 10 verses 6, 10 verses 6. And then you are required to calculate R. You are required here to calculate R. How will you be able to get the value of R for us? How will you be able to get the value of R for us? Now, if you're keen enough, ladies and gentlemen, you must have realized that we do not have what? Doubles. No doubles here, no doubles here. As in, if you double 2, you won't get 8. So it means that we have to create the doubling ourselves. And how do we create the doubling ourselves? So in this case here, if you double 2, you'll get 4. If you double 4, that's when you get what here? 8. Now, the moment you have created the doubling effect here, now you can come and talk of T. This double, the time becomes RT. You keep on introducing R. Another double here. So this becomes another R. It will be R squared what here? T. And then from the last one, that is where you really capture it. So it will be, we have here R squared T equals 6. So R squared times T. T happens to be, we know the value of T here, from here. T happens to be 10 equals 6. Meaning that our R squared will be 6 out of 10. Our R squared will be 0.6. Therefore, our R will be root of 0.6 like that. So square root of 0.6, square root of 0.6 will be equal to 0.77. This will be equal to 0.77, which is the same as what here? 77%. 77%. 77%. Now look at this particular question on this book. Yeah. If you have the book here, you can straight away come here where they have given us cumulative production, and then we have cumulative time. And then they want us to give them the learning curve rate. Could you kindly take like 2 or 3 minutes, you do this question for us? 2 or 3 minutes, do that question for us before we come to the end of this class. Anyone who has been able to come up with an answer? Anyone who has been able to come up with an answer?
Kwa ushirikiano na chama cha madaktari KMPDU eneo la Nyanza walizuru hospitali ya rufaa ya Kisii. I want to say that our government has done
So,
and is doing
given us here
possible to be able to
the quantity, we have the quantity, we have 1, we have 2, we have 4, we have 8. I can see the doubles. And then they have given me the time. The time here is 200. Then we have 360. Then we have 648. And then we have 11 what here? 66. So a good student here, first of all, should have gotten to know that this is a wrong way of presenting our time. I mean, from the cumulative experience principle. As the quantity increases, what happens to average time? Average time is supposed to be reducing. Because I mean, the more we produce, the faster we become. The faster we become. The faster we become because of the experience we get. So it means that a good student here really should have known that this is not average time, should have come and created a column of average time here. So how do we get this average time? I'll take total time divided by quantity. So like 200 divided by 1 gives me 200. 360 divided by 2 will give me what figure? 360 divided by 2 will give me 180. We have 648 divided by 4, which will give me 162. And then we have 1166 divided by 8. I want to get time per unit, which gives me 145.75. So the first one here, of course, this as per the doubling path principle will be T. This one here, because of the double, becomes RT. I can see 2 times 4 is 2 times 2, I mean, is 4. So I can see a double there, but I have to introduce R. So we're talking of R squared T. And then lastly, because of this double, I have to introduce R into this. It will be now R cubed T. So pick it always from the last one. We are saying that R cubed T equals 145.75. But T, the time here, the original time was 200. Therefore, R cubed times T, T which is 200, should be equal to 145.75. R cubed will be equal to 145.75 divided by 200. So if you divide this by 200, we are getting 0.72875. And therefore, our R will be equal to, because I don't want R cubed, I want R alone, R now will be equal to the cube root of 0.72875. So now we have the cube root here. So I'll say 3 and then x root. And then I say answer there equals, which will give me 0.8999, which is basically what here, 90% learning curve rate. 90% learning curve rate. Learning curve rate. 90% learning curve rate. Okay. Any question? Can't see the question. Unfortunately, now you have finished. But Mina, you happen to be having this revision kit. All you need to do is simply to go to that particular page number 26. Page number 26. Now, these lessons are coming live to you from Afri School. Okay, so in this case here, we have here Afri School. So Afri School normally sells their videos per subject. We normally sell this subject here, each subject here for how much? 3,500. 3,500 here for one subject. And once you pay us this amount, we shall be able to give you what we call access to all our pre-recorded videos, which will be able to download and watch without internet. Without internet. This is quite fundamental. Without internet, offline, you download and then you watch without internet. Number 2, we have what we call the smart notes, quite summarized notes for our students. And then number 3, we have this kind of live what here classes. All this for this amount. Students who happen to be currently enrolled at RCM, we are trying to come up with a package for you. So don't go with this package. There's a package you're trying to come up with to see how we can help you to finish your syllabuses at home. So I would also want to take this opportunity here to urge you, request you to share this particular video online. You share this particular video online so they can bring so many people onto this healthy platform of learning, which guarantees social distancing concept. Otherwise, thank you very much. God bless you.